This title is narrated with virtual voice. Computer-generated narration for audiobooks. Show Me a Fake Engagement by Alexa Verd. Chapter 1. I've been waiting forever for you. To talk to you. The female voice on the cell phone sounded exasperated. What time was it? To think about it, what city was he in? Ari McFarland rubbed his aching temples as he glanced around the spacious, well-lit hotel room. Why wasn't his manager handling this phone call? Okay. Ari was grateful to his fans. He really was. Each and every one of them. Thanks to them, he could do what he was passionate about. And thanks to them, this concert tour to promote the band's new album was a surprising smash success after all those years of just getting by. Good morning. He just needed the throbbing in his head to subside and to remember the caller's name. It might be close to noon, but he'd gone to bed late last night. Make it early this morning, after the concert. The caller chuckled. Good afternoon, actually. Right. Coffee. Yes, he needed coffee. A pond of it. Phone in hand, he headed to the kitchenette, which should be well stocked with drinks, fruits, and snacks. He cringed, pressing his free hand to his forehead, feeling as if a set of drums on his head was being hit repeatedly. He was almost 40, and while sleepless nights in his 20s could go unnoticed, that wasn't the case any longer. The pause on the phone stretched too far. But before he could come up with anything useful, the caller said, "You don't remember me, do you? Tessa Loudy?" Was he supposed to? He pressed the button on the coffee pot. Then it came flooding back to him. Of course, Tessa. A slightly upturned nose, a splash of freckles, a bright smile, an unruly mop of long red hair, a set of large blue eyes, and an overwhelming kindness that spurred her to help others, from a duck crossing the road to a lonely older neighbor to Ari, who'd felt, in turn, neglected or abandoned. He wasn't sure which one was worse, by his own family. They grew up in the same neighborhood, in Springfield in the Show Me state. Climbed fences, played basketball, even made a few pinky promises to each other. She was fun to be around, a bright spot, in several senses, in his otherwise bleak childhood. He chuckled at the memories. Of course, I remember you. So glad you found me. How have you been? Now he remembered. He'd told his manager to put Tessa through to him. He'd had many admirers now, but he could never figure out whether they liked him for him or because he was semi-rich or semi-famous, or both of the latter. Someone from the innocent times of childhood, who'd kept him company because of him, lingered in his consciousness like long-lasting chords of pure joy. She huffed. It's not difficult to find you, but it is difficult to get through to you. And I'm fine. Okay, she didn't sound as cheerful as when she'd been a child. Still. He tried to calculate when he'd be back in Springfield, assuming she still lived there. The rich coffee bean aroma filled the room, and he poured himself a generous cup. Shockingly, the pounding in his head had disappeared already. He wouldn't be back in Springfield anytime soon. There was a sizable part of the tour left. Oh well. Listen, I have to figure out when I'll be back so we can catch up. He'd have a busy schedule when he returned to his hometown to capitalize on the success that dropped on their heads when they were losing hope. Finally, his new songs had resonated with people, and his manager, Wyatt, had injected a large amount of capital and promotion to ensure public interest, including creating careful rumors about Ari's personal life. Yet there should be a window open eventually. He ignored the array of fancy creamers and yummy-looking pastries, sat down, and took a careful sip of scalding liquid. That's not why I'm calling, Tessa said. It's because of Ollie. He's a huge fan of yours. He placed the cup on the oak table fast, but somehow without sloshing the hot coffee over. His life was splattered all over the tabloids now, but he knew nothing about Tessa. Was this Ollie?